In today's video, we are back for round 3 of the F1 Challenge Career Mode, trying to take the worst car on F1 24 to championship glory along the way. Today at Silverstone, my home GP, and it is pivotal to absolutely nail both the qualifying race to maximize points delivery. With that being said, let's get straight into the video and into the heart of the action. Here we go then, round 3 of the championship, my home race at Silverstone. This is how the championship standings are shaping up, and today is a must-win race, or at least finish ahead of Max Verstappen. As you can see by the R&D standings, we are still comfortably the slowest car, because we're not taking upgrades, of course, but just to show it that we're still staying transparent. With that being said, let's get straight into qualifying. And we might be in luck here. Qualifying is in the rain, and this is exactly what we need. Right, let's see what the weather is doing. And it's going to be wet at the start, but as it gets later into the session, it is going to be drying up. So whether that goes to full dry conditions or still stays as the intermediate tyre, we'll have to see. But I think it's more than worth it going out on the intermediate tyre and setting a banker. So here we go then, building up to our first lap on the intermediate tyres. The track is still pretty wet, so we're going to see how the grip evolves as we go on throughout this lap, but also as the session evolves. Pretty slippy on the final corner. Turn 1 is just about flat out, so we need to keep that in mind for future laps as well. Break it down into third gear, trying to minimise any tyre locking. Did pretty successfully there. Into the left hand, a pretty nice rotation, really careful on the power, didn't really have that much confidence to stamp down the throttle in these conditions. Heading up to the end of sector 1, what's it going to be? It's a 30.1, as you see, having multiple stabs at the turn-in for that left-hander. Wasn't really ideal, optimal or fast, but we're still driving in the right direction, and that's really what we need in this situation as we're learning the track. Running up to Cops Corner, this has got to be a lift in these conditions, and it is. Big lift on the throttle. We're still able to carry decent minimum speed, a lot to improve on for next time we're on track. Keep it flat, down to 7th, down to 6th, and now going down to 5th, the right hander back on the power. And what's it going to be in the middle sector? It's purple in the middle sector. In fact, even with the mistakes that we did, draining the battery for all it's worth in the straight line here, down to 5th gear, trying to carry good minimum speed. The rear of the car's fighting around. Now heading up to the final complexes of the track. Hamilton goes provisionally fastest. We miss that apex by a country mile, and now trying to just trickle back to the power. Look for the traction where it's available. What can it be? And we go 2/10 off provisional pole position. Considering how bad my lap was, I'll happily take that. Right, we come back to the garage. You can see our middle sector was in fact purple, but we lost the majority of our time in the final sequences of corners. So we'll keep that in mind as we head on to our second flyer. You can see, actually, we are about to start our next intermediate lap, but the track is looking to be almost bone dry. So I think we should box and get a set of soft tyres on the car ready for the optimal grip conditions later in the session. But all the AI are going out on intermediates, even though it says the intermediates are 5 seconds a lap slower right now, and the softs are 5 seconds, nearly 6 seconds a lap faster. So this is quite difficult. I'm not really sure what to do. Could either be the easiest pole or a disaster here, given the fact everyone else is on intermediate tyres. It says in the garage that softs are faster, so we're going to trust that. Go out to track, and we really need this to work. We can't afford a bad qualifying today. Look at that. There still isn't any grip. It's still about the same grip as the intermediate tyres would be giving. But of course, our slick tyres are still yet to come up to temperature. DRS has not been enabled yet. We're starting our final lap in qualifying. What will basically be either pole or nothing. Turn 1, Valtteri Bottas is the temporary fastest lap of the race. Of course, we're going to aim to go faster than that. Flat out through the first sequence of corners. Nice on the brakes. Got the apex pretty well. Big snap of a wheel spin there. Into the left hand. They're just trying to build back up on the power. And now DRS is still not enabled, so we have to be careful of our battery usage strategy. Almost a second up on our Delta already. Not purple in sector 1. But still, we've got the high-speed corners for the car and the tyres and the grip to come alive. You can see really struggling in the low-speed corners there. Max Verstappen, championship rival, of course, championship leader, has gone fastest of anyone. Can we stop him from taking pole position? That was almost flat out through there. That was really nice. 2.1 seconds on the Delta. Is this flat? Yes, it is. Through the left, through the right. Lovely. Oh no, we invalidated. No. No. Oh, we were so close to the limit. Oh, that is a disaster. We're going to finish a lap anyway to see where we could have been, but that is a true disaster, a true bottle on my behalf. We sent it. It wasn't going to be pole anyway. It wasn't going to be pole, but what a disaster. What a disaster. What a bottle job. We would have been starting P8 in the race, what isn't great, to be honest. What a bottle job. We would have been starting P8 on the grid, but instead we're starting second to last against myself, ironically. And we were the fastest of the two Brendons today. The second Brendon was 7.5 seconds slower, and we were 4.3 seconds slower. What a disaster of a session.
I know you're frustrated to be this far back on the grid, but you've got to keep that under control. Keep a cool head and work your way through the field gradually as you go. It's not all going to be won or lost at the first corner.
Cheers, Jeff. Really appreciate the input. Here we go then, Silverstone, my home GP, and this is a really critical race for the championship now. This is the setup that we're going to be using in today's race, so feel free to note it down and use it in your own races if you would like to do so. And we're going to be starting on the medium compound tyres, going to softs later in the race for a very, very critical conclusion to today's GP. 54.4 kg of fuel, as now we're getting onto the start like seemingly the only car on the medium compound tyres around us, because that was a very fast lights out and away we go, and we do able to get a very nice start, drawing alongside K-Mag already. That's now trying to go around the outside of 10-1, and we do get contact. Seems like we was pretty wide, and we was just able to hang it there and not spin from that, and that was very, very crucial. Maybe we did turn in on K-Mag a little bit there, probably we did swoop in from the outside line a bit too aggressively, but we was able just about to get away with it, and that is very, very, very lucky for us. But the moves that we need to be taking are high risk on this first lap to get ourselves back up the grid and into fighting contention around the outside of Yuki Tsunoda now, still side by side with Hulkenberg actually on the inside line. We cannot lose this position down the straight. We have to hold track position around the outside of Copse Corner. Just able to do that nicely. Right, let's see what we can do. We need to get into our flow of the race. Through the right-hander. Quite nice on the car balance so far, to be honest. And now we've got Hulkenberg all over the back of us. Even though we're running super low wings, the AI still seems like a rocket in a straight line. We really need to focus on our inputs. Up ahead, the AI seems to be fighting a bit. Gasly and Hamilton. Max Verstappen does fastest lap of the race. Exactly what I didn't want to see. Gonna look for a nice exit all over the back of Yuki Tsunoda there. Much closer than I ever expected to be. Right, now deep in the slipstream of Yuki, but his straight line speed seems outrageous. Can we do anything up the inside? Yes, we are going to send it, and he just about gives us the room. Now we're going to switch underneath him and try to take the track position. But he's going to have better traction, and he's going to be fighting us all the way down to Copse Corner. But it seems like he's run out of battery deployment, but we're able to sweep past him pretty convincingly as the straight went on, and we are now having to focus on staying within that DRS. We have dropped out of DRS. Can we get it back? No, we're not going to get it back. That's a disaster. We lost DRS to Lance Stroll, I think. No, we just about got it, in fact. What a roller coaster that was during the corners. But we are so low on battery right now. Luckily, Yuki is not fighting us. Yellow flag up ahead. Let's see what that is. That's Lewis Hamilton, it seems like, going slowly. And he's cutting across the racing line. But luckily, we was able to avoid him. Didn't cost any time. And he's going to be retiring from this race. There we go. Confirmation. Lewis Hamilton is out of the race. Yuki is now lining us up for an overtake into turn 1. We really need to get our ace together here. Thing is, we don't really have much battery deployment left. AI fighting up ahead. That could be very lucky for us if they can get us back in a DRS detection point. 30% battery deployment left. Come on, Yuki, please. I just need to drive the race. Big understeer here. The front tyres are already suffering a little bit. This is far from optimal. We're barely going to be able to fight Yuki on this straight. We can't fight him. We're going to have to focus on Nico Hulkenberg. Bring our battery back up to a decent level. This shows what you can do. If you make one mistake in qualifying, it really can be game over. That was much nicer. They're building up the battery quite progressively right now. I think what we can do is follow Yuki for a little bit longer maybe. And maybe he can start catching up to Lance Stroll as Nico Hulkenberg's trying to eye us up for an overtake, but we can't let that happen. If we get lucky, maybe Yuki has enough pace to start catching the cars ahead. We really don't want to attack him down this straight, but we don't want to lose position to Nico Hulkenberg. Okay, that's good. We can turn our battery off, start saving it again. There's a car up ahead. That's Alex Albon. Oh my word. Right, we need a replay of that. And how did I not get damage? How did I not get damage from that? That was crazy lucky. Look at that. So Alex Albon's had a big off up ahead. Just locked up. Yeah, just locked up and went straight on. Came back to the racing line. Yuki's had to try and avoid him. Yeah, Yuki's panicked with his AI. And somehow, we go to off-board camera here. Somehow, with that big of a hit, we have not picked up front wing damage. I have no idea how we didn't. But I'm not complaining nevertheless. That was very, very, very lucky. I was pretty sure that was going to be 2 races in a row that we got damage from the AI in a very similar incident. Not gonna lie though, I can already sense that to bring ourselves properly back into contention for the race victory, we're gonna need like a safety car. This is working out to be a much harder challenge than I actually anticipated this to be, but I'm enjoying it, to be honest. Enjoying having to really wrestle a car around a track, trying to get performance out of it, even when it doesn't really want to give that performance. Over the start finish line. New personal best of the race. So Alex clearly is having a good pace, just towing us along just slightly. Ah, big snapper wheel spin. Was really starting to build up a lot of confidence then with the car. Yuki's all over the back of us. We have to use a bit of overtake to make sure he can't go side by side into Cox corner. Right, into Mags Beck. This is very, very critical in this lap. Did get it right. New personal best in middle sector as well. Right, we need to turn off the battery as early as we can, just so we don't waste anything. Sweep around the outside. That was nice, that was. Yellow flag behind us. Go on, make a safety car. There's going to be a car retiring. Please, we need that safety car. If there's racing god, we need the safety car. Seems there won't be a safety car. Even worse than that, we need to use battery to defend from Alex Albon. There's still a Ferrari behind that. That must be Charles Leclerc. He had a bit of a disaster qualifying as well. Yeah, the abandoned AI car has now been fully recovered. So Alex Albon's got to go inside the cops, but we're not going to let that happen. Oh, please, fingers crossed for that safety car. We have to keep on using battery in places really I wouldn't want to. There's another yellow flag behind us. There's another retiree. It seems like there'll be a retiree anyway. Esteban Ocon has a puncture on his rear tyre. That's interesting. I've not seen that from the AI. Yeah, where did he get a puncture from? Guess we'll never know. Yeah, I mean, Alex Albon is still there. What can I do about it? Just don't want to lose any more positions. We say that Yuki Tsunoda goes flying up or inside. Oh, this is not going well, is it? We are going to need the biggest stroke of luck in today's race. Right, everyone in front of me. What can we do then? What can we do? We're ahead of Verstappen now on track, but it doesn't really mean anything. It would only really mean something, to be honest. There's a safety car. That'll bring us back into contention, but seemingly unlikely. And again, you can always get lucky. This shows what a mistake in qualifying can do on a challenge like this. A teammate was 7.6 seconds off pole position. We'll have to let Hulkenberg go so we're not side by side wasting time. Even so, he had a little wiggle on the entry, so we had to avoid him. Still a bit nervous what happened last time it launched off, to be honest. So yeah, we're probably driving a car compared to Red Bull, where it's like probably at 3 seconds off the pace. We're just trying to pull as much potential out of it as we possibly can. Now we have a choice, to be honest. We can either go super long in this race and risk everything for a safety car that'll put us back into P1 after the pit stops have filtered out, but basically takes us out of the contention for points if it doesn't happen. Or we can box in 2 laps time, put on the softs that we're planning to, and more than likely fight for like P8 at best if there isn't a safety car. To be honest, we're able to hold the gap to Norris behind pretty well, all things considered. I think we are going to box next lap. I think as nice as it would be to pray for a safety car, I think it's quite unrealistic. And even if it is only a few points, we should definitely, at minimum, try to collect them as we lose a bit of time touching the grass on the inside. Right, Verstappen has now fell down to P4 in that race, or in the race. What is going to be helping us, of course, if he's getting less points. Right, so let's box. Lap 16, 26. Into the right hand of the car's understeering so much now. Need to slow it down. Look for the trucks on the right hand side. That's normally a good reference on where to brake. Getting the car slowed down quite conservatively, to be honest, but very efficiently. Where are we going to come out of the pit lane? I reckon we're going to have quite a job on our hands even to come back to points paying positions. Already the race leaders have gone past us. Just about getting the perfect pit stop. Oh, and it's slow again. That is a disaster by the team. That is really not ideal. Right, we need to get an absolute move on now. We're down to P18. Right, we get past Logan Sargent on this straight. Careful not to run into the back of Wan Yu Zhou with the extra grip. Up the inside even with the extra grip. Right, we're going to try and stay behind for the DLF protection. Save the battery. Good exit needed. We did get a good exit. Right, we need to absolutely do the stint of dreams. 5 seconds about to Bottas. Right, got the gap down to 3.1 seconds to Valtteri Bottas up ahead. Didn't even do purple middle. Will it even be purple fastest lap of the race at this moment in time? Starting to think it won't be. What's it going to be? It is purple lap, just about, I think by a tenth even. But I believe Charles was from a 28.2, if my memory serves me correctly. That is encouraging, because we was able to do the lap without using really any spare battery. Right, 1.1 seconds, we should get DRS towards the end of this lap now. Right, let's see what we can do. We're probably not going to be in a place to overtake Ricardo on this straight. So save the battery nice and early. All over the back of Danny Rick now. Bottas and Hulkenberg up the road. And a bit of a gap for the points paying positions. But let's see if we can catch it. Let's see what we can do. It was only a tenth of our fastest lap of the race then. Going to turn up the battery nice and early. Just save it a little bit while we can. Danny Rick might have just nabbed a bit of DRS with Valtteri Bottas. Shouldn't matter though, our traction should be so good that we can get past him anyway. He did get the DLS. Gonna have to use a bit more overtake button than I would have liked to. Be away. Down the inside, lovely jubbly. Next up, Valtteri Bottas, Nico Hulkenberg. Just see the points paying positions glimpsing in and out of Magnus and Beckett's there as I was approaching. Right, try not to use too much of our overtake button here. Big top speed advantage down the inside of Bottas. Down the inside of Hulkenberg as well. He did leave us the space. Fair play to him. 5.4 seconds. About 6 seconds to point paying position. I don't know. I don't think that's off the cards just yet. Just need them to be fighting each other for a few corners in a row. Then we can possibly get a good few sectors ourselves and be back in contention. Really, there was two things we could have done better in this race. Well, three things actually. Not bottled qualifying. Probably started on the softs, because they seem like a much better race tyre than I was anticipating. And we should have boxed earlier. If we did start on the mediums, we should have boxed probably lap 14 instead of lap 16, but it is what it is. I still very much enjoy the challenge of this car. I very much enjoy the challenge of the series. It's not about winning every race, it's not about dominating, it's not doing spectacular last to first. I think, for me, it's quite enjoyable, I should say, taking what is the worst car by a mile and just seeing what we can do with it. Drag a performance out of it, drag pace out of it. Our teammate has only just started Sector 2. So that just shows how slow the car actually is when in the hands of the AI. And somehow we're able to drag some results out of it. 29.3. To be honest, only 1.2 seconds off my fastest lap. That's not too bad considering the tyre deck. Heading on to the final lap of the race. Points are basically looking impossible right now. 4.6 seconds behind Alex Albon, and even further behind the points paying positions. But still, not the result that we really needed today, not the result that we wanted. Obvious statement, I know, but still an enjoyable race nevertheless, especially from my perspective. Enjoying the car, enjoying the challenge, enjoying the fact that not every race is going to be perfect, and the fact that we don't have flashbacks on makes it better, to be honest. Makes it more challenging. Means I can't change my strategy. I can't change how the race is unfolding. I just have to react live to it and give it everything I have for each individual circumstance. With that being said, though, next race we're going to come back swinging. We're going to come back with a good momentum and a better knowledge of not making the mistakes like we did in the qualifying session. 41% tyre deg at the end, so we definitely could have been boxing earlier and had a better chance of catching the cars ahead. With that being said, though, final few corners of the GP into the final apexes, and it is going to be sealed, signed and delivered outside of the points for the first time in this career mode. Less than ideal. So yeah, really falling short of our objectives today. Max Verstappen picks up another 18 points in the Drivers' Championship. We pick up a big 0, but we do get fastest lap along the way, so at least that's something to be slightly happy about. With that result, we have dropped down to P7 in the Drivers' Championship, equal with Sergio Perez. P6 in the Constructors' Championship now, with Aston Martin overtaking us. Next race is going to be in Spa, Belgium. We need to have a cracker to get ourselves back on form and maximize points in this championship. Not the race that we was looking for, not the points that we were looking for, but we have 7 more races to come back strong and get back to the championship hunt. Can we do it? Can we recover? Or will we continue to fall short? We'll find out in the next episode. Until then, I've been Brendon Leigh. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you soon. Grazie Vazazzi. Ciao ciao. Bye bye.